Hi, Louis here, Louis Crow from Bionic Gym. You're very welcome. And this is our first Bionic Gym live in quite a while. We always love to get questions from you. So Ross here is standing by and he's going to post up your questions. So do send them in, they're really appreciated. And I'll try and get through as many as I can. There are always basic questions about what Bionic Gym is, who is it for, and I'll get through all of these as well. So at a basic, what is Bionic Gym? Well, Bionic Gym is two things. One is it's a community, and we have a wonderful Facebook community where people kind of share their progress and their exercise regimes and how they're getting on with Bionic Gym. And then the second part is Bionic Gym itself, the physical product and what it does for you. So it's a set of reps, okay? These reps go around your legs very simply, and it's controlled by an app. And little electrical impulses go through the legs and they target your muscles in a very particular way. They target your muscles in a way which will burn calories because it mimics shivering. And nature's hack to create heat or burn calories is to shiver. So we found a way to mimic this really well. And so I'm just using it at low intensities here. You can see my legs are kind of slightly quivering. I'm at intensity 30, but my heart rate is already at 100 beats per minute. So you can see that in blue there. And this is part here. It's up slightly because I'm doing the Facebook Live, but my resting heart rate would be in the 50s. So this here already is a little bit of exercise, and I've been doing this for maybe half an hour at this rate, and I'm beginning to feel slightly warm. But anyway, so that's exercise it induces at low levels, and you can do a Facebook Live like this, of course. At these levels, you can work, or at least it's quite easy to work at a standing desk because everything's stable up here. And a lot of people use it sitting down as well. We've got different zones, and some people prefer a particular program, what we call the zones, that maybe targets one muscle more than the other, and then they're able to use it sitting down quite easily while they're working. So I see there are a few questions coming in, and I see I have some old friends here. Colby, good to see you. Colby, it goes back since I more or less started developing this iteration of Bionic Gym. I started 20 years ago, but about 4 years ago, myself and Colby hooked up online, and it's great to see you. Colby's asking how long till version 2, well, actually, our electronics have changed, and nobody actually knows this because there was a huge component shortage, and some of our components are used in the car industry, and they just lapping up all the world supply of particular components. That was hugely problematic for us. So we've redesigned electronics on the inside. We kept the plastics the same, and we kept the programs the same, or in fact slightly improved. So already on iteration 2, and James is going to. James is our new electronic engineer, wonderful talent, and he's already working on iteration 3, which will be smaller. And that relates to, I think there was another question there, can it go over your clothing? Unfortunately not. It needs good contact with the skin. And in fact, we have, I can show you here, we've got electrodes on the inside of the wraps. And these electrodes need to contact the skin. And this is how we're able to target particular muscles, particular motor neurons. These are nerves that go to your muscles. This is how we manage to target them so well and so specifically. We only have kind of 4 electrodes per leg, but still we manage to bring in the calf muscle because we target the nerve that goes down to your calf in the thigh. It's a sophistication that we live. We also send current from one side to the other, little impulses, and this enables us to kind of get the glutes in as well. So what we're aiming for is progressively we're shrinking down the electronics, and so you can wear it under your clothing more easily. But we don't have any plans to do, and theoretically it's possible to do it from outside, but it would be hugely bulky. You'd probably need to be plugged in because the amount of energy it would take, or else you'd need to adapt it with a semi-implanted device. Now, I've tried some of these and they're fun, but they're not for the public. As we're talking, I've just got it on at intensity 27 there, and I always have a heart rate monitor on as well. And my heart rate is just 110 beats per minute. So that's pretty good. This would be the equivalent to kind of like slow jogging for me. In the 7 minutes I've been talking, I've burned 55 calories. Not very much, but hey, I'm just talking to you. So that's really nice. The Stephen Whiteside, big hello to Toronto as well. Thank you. I met Stephen in Dublin a couple of years ago, and we had a pint, and he took his Bionic Gym. Good to see you, and hello to your wife as well. I think it's Anna. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Lovely lady. So back to Bionic Gym. So I'll discuss kind of what it can do for ordinary people, what it can do for athletes, what it can do for people who, maybe want to get in a bit of cardio, people who cannot exercise, maybe have a neurological problem, you've checked with your doctor that you're allowed exercise and this would be safe for you, and can this exercise you? And I'll also talk briefly about elite athletes as well, giving them a slight edge. Michelle is asking, how long will it last in one charge? As part of our new electronics, we've made it slightly more efficient as well. We changed Bluetooth. So one charge will now last kind of around 6 hours. You'll get a kind of good workout in that. You could, if you wanted, over those 6 hours, burn, several thousand calories. Once you got very fit with it, maybe you look fit already, Michelle, but as you get used to it. And it takes several weeks for some people in order to get used to it, especially if you haven't done a particular type of exercise or if you've got a particular type of muscle fiber. It takes 2 or 3 weeks to build up. And can you use it for those, say, 4 or 6 hours that you'd expect to get out of the battery life out of a new unit? You can use it for 4 or 6 hours, all right. We don't recommend you use it all day long because 2 things. One, your skin needs to breathe, and a bit like if you put on a cap all day, you'll get some skin problems. So your skin needs to breathe, so don't have it on all day long. But using it, it can be used for long periods of time in 2 ways. One is if you're a serious athlete and really want to train, especially for long distance running. There was a wonderful woman, Brew, who was using it in the Arctic Ocean. She was on a research ship up there, and it was very cold. And she used to use it to kind of keep herself warm in the Arctic. So she'd use it all day long. She was very fit there, so she just ended up eating lots more. The other way you can use it is use it at lower levels for while you're working or whatever. So, or pottering around, or if you're, watching YouTube or Facebook in the evening or TikTok, it's always good to do something with Bionic Gym because as you're doing something with it, you're kind of distracted and, you're doing whatever you're doing. That's always good. And that way you can tolerate it a little bit higher. And the other way I find is if you do it with somebody, myself and Isha. So Isha is, sometimes we do it together. She says I'm competitive. I say I'm not at all. But when we do it together, I always end up pushing myself a little bit harder. So do it with somebody as well. It's a bit more fun as well. Carly, how are you? Any information on how to make Bionic Gym more effective for people with lots of cellulite? It seems to be a real issue for a lot of your female users with bigger thighs. It is a real issue. The cellulite we don't directly impact. What we do is we tone the underlying muscle, we burn lots of fat, and as you lose fat, the cellulite will improve. There are a lot of therapies out there that essentially claim to make improvements in cellulite by kind of pumping the lymphatic system. And as you can tell from Bionic Gym, like we certainly are, if I increase intensity, you'll see we really pump the lymphatic system. So if that technology works and improves cellulite by pumping your lymphatic system, it should help. But what I suspect happens is that people gradually lose weight, and as you lose weight, the cellulite improves. The cellulite is kind of, it's areas of kind of fibrosis, like kind of mesh that holds down the fat layer, and the fat kind of bulges through. The problem is it can be quite tender cellulite. So cellulite, it can be sore to touch. I don't know, you're asking for the ladies, but a lot of guys won't know that kind of grade 3, grade 4 cellulite is tender just to touch. And we're sending in impulses through this area, through a wad of fat, because we guys, we carry our fat in our bellies, but the women carry it on the thighs. This, it's just a sex difference, but our impulses and the muscles we're targeting through these thighs. And so women with kind of severe cellulite, they need to use it much more gradually, and they need to use it for longer periods of time. Maybe someone like yourself and myself, when we first use it, it might take maybe a week or a few days, up to 2 weeks to kind of get used to it. But for someone with cellulite, it can take 3 or 4 weeks, and they just use it for long periods of time at the intensity that they can enjoy, okay? And then they just keep on increasing the intensity. The body gets used to it, and then they begin to kind of exercise with it, and everything kind of slots into place. And then you get into a virtuous cycle, which is wonderful. So how does the kind of body get used to it? The body gets used to it because they're, in the same way as when you put your shirt on in the morning, you put your shirt on for a few seconds, you don't, you feel it, and then you forget about it, and you go about the rest of your day without thinking about the shirt on your back. But for a few seconds, you did feel it, and it's something similar, a really repetitive, boring impulse into the nervous system. The nervous system just essentially learns to ignore it, and that's what we do with Bionic Gym, and that's why with cellulite, it's important that they seem to be, that they increase it slowly and steadily over a period of weeks. The Jeffrey, complete scam. No worries, every comment is welcome. And however, what I can show you is that I can show you my heart rate, and I can show you my heart rate going up, and I can show you in real time me getting breathless and sweating. So these are quite difficult things to mimic. And of course, we have kind of got scientific research as well. We've got 14 or 15 papers published in peer-reviewed journals with kind of 5 professors and different universities, even in different countries. So the science is solid. And also check out the community. There are people there that are getting their heart rates high. It's not just me. I could perhaps inject myself with a bit of adrenaline, epinephrine, and get my heart racing, but would I do that live? Probably not. So my heart rate here, you can see is 123. That's not bad. So, and I've burnt 117 calories since I've started this Facebook Live. So you can see that it is possible to burn calories. It is possible to get the heart rate up. And what I love about kind of Tressa is an important person in our community. She's She's great. And she's also had kind of she's dealt with a lot of people who kind of question quite naturally, kind of, is Bionic Gym too good to be true? And as you can say, Tressa says she's been using it for 2 years, 45 pounds gone, no diet changes. I mean, that's just extraordinary. And I've never met Tressa outside of Bionic Gym. So, you know, it doesn't get better than that. So thank you, Tressa. And there are dozens more people with equally amazing results. And we've got thousands of people who get their heart rate up, who are burning lots of calories. So do check out the communities and do check out the science. Maybe next time we have a look, put into PubMed. This is a US government scientific literature database. Put in my name, Louis Crowe, LOUISCROWE, and you'll come up with a lot of research. So, so that's that. Thank you for the comment. I appreciate it. Carly again, when you're actually going to change the size information on the website, it still lists height as a key determinant of which size to order. We have a new guy coming in on Monday week, and this will be top of his list. So what we'll do there is, what I'm really saying is, Carly, I'm hearing you very clearly. Tressa had said that before to Ross, and Ross said basically, if Tressa says it's serious, change it. So we will be changing that, and that should happen within 2 weeks. We'll do it in 2 portions. One is the button that people press. We'll put in a weight in addition to the height there. And then the second thing what we'll do is the size chart that comes up when you press size information. That at the moment is a kind of little PDF. And there are some good ideas that have been floated around to make that kind of clearer. Maybe choose a body type and you click on your body type and your height and your weight, and then it will tell you large or small with extensions. But thanks for highlighting it again, Carly. This has been taken seriously. Thank you. Great. So we hope to be doing these Facebook Lives a bit more regularly going forward as well. So every 2 to 3 weeks is our anticipated schedule, and we'll have different we'll have different kind of formats to it in that. So since Tressa was there, it'd be lovely sometime to talk to Tressa, or if she'd like to host one, that would be great. Ross here, my colleague who's helping me out on this, he might host one as well. We might interview people too. We can actually do just a Bionic Gym session at high intensity as well. I'm told when I don't want not to increase intensity too much, because then I get breathless and it's more difficult to understand. Okay, cool. We'll keep this kind of fairly short. Stephen, hi again. Do you know if anybody has been monitoring changes in heart rate variability? And Tessa rocks, yes. In heart rate variability, no is the short answer, apart from myself. So yes, there were increases in heart rate variability, but I wasn't tracking it for long enough. My heart rate variability previously was very good. So so I needed to have a lower baseline. When I was tracking it, my resting heart rate was in the 40s. So when it's in the 40s, it has a very high HRV as well. For other people who are less familiar with body tracking, HRV is heart rate variability. And surprisingly, the fitter you are and the more kind of relaxed you are, your neuronal tone is such that your heart rate fluctuates quite an amount. So you kind of think that people who were very fit would have a heart rate of, say, 50, and it would just go 50, 50, 50 all the time. And people who are stressed and were unfit might have a heart rate of 80, and it would be bopping up and down a lot. The opposite is true. the 50, someone whose heart rate is 50 will most likely fluctuate an awful lot more. And this is a beat-to-beat variation. And the beat-to-beat variation is just your heart doesn't take too much to get it going. Whereas at the other extreme, say particularly in say cardiac failure, you're under your nervous system's pushing your heart all the time, and this kind of drive increases the heart rate, but it also decreases the variability because it's all the time pushing. Specifically heart rate variability, no, we've got enormous numbers of people who've said their resting heart rate went down. Now, and it goes down remarkably quickly, much quicker than you'd expect. Heart rate typically would take 2 or 3 months before you get a 2 or 3 beats per minute decrease in the heart rate. That's resting heart rate. So resting heart rate is you're sitting down for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you measure your heart rate over 1 minute, and we'll say it's 60. And anything on the 60 tends to be good. Anything on the 50 tends to be extraordinary. And most people are kind of 70s, 80s, depending upon your age and your weight and all of that. But the heart rate, resting heart rate, seems to go down quicker than you typically expect with Bionic Gym. But we need to do formalized studies on that. When we're doing the studies in kind of the universities and in the lab and all the rest, we train people up over maybe a 6 to 8 week period, and their fitness level would increase. But we weren't measuring the resting heart rate, partly because it takes 20 minutes to do, and also we're more interested at that time in just showing the absolute increases in the VO2 max, which is the measure of their aerobic capacity. Cool. So I'll, for those of you who haven't seen Bionic Gym, I'll briefly increase the intensity and talk about it. So we've got different zones. This one I'm on now. It's called twinkle toes, and on me and certain people, but not everybody, as you increase intensity, the calf muscle contracts really hard. And so you may have noticed I've hopped up in the screen. So that's because the calf muscles are particularly targeted. We've other ones which target preferentially, say, the glutes. That one's called more behind you, or bionic quads that target the quadriceps muscles. And everybody's a little bit different. So because of that, what works for one person may not work for another person so well, or it may work while you're standing, but not while you're sitting. So vary your zone, see what works for you. We've also got what we call HIIT programs. And HIIT programs, that's short for high intensity interval training. So you're at a low intensity, and you set intensity on your screen. It goes at a lower intensity and then goes up to the maximum intensity you've put on your screen. Keep you there for a few seconds and then down again. And it does this for 10 or 15 seconds, and repeats again and again. You can see my legs going. You can see my heels are off the floor. That's because I'm using twinkle toes here. Okay. The other thing which you may see is my heart rate monitor is here. So at these levels, it's difficult to walk. So you can see my heart rate's up at kind of 140 beats per minute. And as I increase intensity again, and with time, the heart rate will increase once more. So that's that. And with a few more minutes, I'll begin to become increasingly more breathless. And then I'll just get my heart rate up to 150, 160, or into the red zone for me. So the red zone is the kind of what would be typical maximum heart rate for someone of my age. So I'm in my 50s now, so it would be kind of about now 158 thereabouts. So, in order to continue talking, I'm going to pause this here. One thing which not many people know, so you can, with the more recent iterations of the firmware, to unpause, you can also use the unit itself and do a slow double click. There we go. Double click and wait. If you're impatient, you can see my heart rate there is up at 160s anyway. Okay, I'll pause again. And so, thank you. I see Bernard is there again. So I just recognized the name from before. Bernard, finally, tricky to join over the mobile. I have two quick questions. First of all, would it be possible to get firmware version with reduced safety counter stimulation hiccups? And second, any news about the new app? Yes is the short answer. But Felipe, who sits in that seat normally, he's our app developer. And we've got actually this. I may even be able to demonstrate. What we've done is the issue you've highlighted, Bernard, other people have it as well. And so what it is for other people is the electrical connection. We've got pogo pins at the bottom of the unit. You can see it there. And these are held in by magnets. And in the wrap, this connection sometimes momentarily, as in milliseconds, disconnects. So that stops our unit. We have this as a safety feature, but it's just so sensitive, as you point out. It's too sensitive because sometimes it just kind of bounces. And if it checks for the electrical connection during the wrong point of the bounce, it may say there's an issue there. In actual fact, there's no issue. So what we've done in the app now is, and this is in a prototype which we're testing now, and I can actually remove this briefly and back in again, and it automatically resumes. If I leave it out for slightly longer, it won't. And so this seems to work a hell of a lot better. So hopefully, Bernard, with the next iteration of the app, this problem will be reduced by 90% value. Obviously, if you disconnect the auxiliary cable, it's just going to disconnect and it's going to switch off for safety reasons. Or if you take out the unit completely, you're able to do that. So I shouldn't do that live on screen, but don't do it. I'm running Bionic Gym at the bottom and an EMS series in the rest of the body, working great. Well done. Good to hear. Let me know how you get on. Good to hear. Angela, hi Angela. Dang it, I'm going to miss this. Hope it'll be available later. I don't know what questions to ask, but I want to hear others ask and the doctor answer. I love my Bionic Gym, thank you. I haven't been able to use it for this summer because I spent a lot of time being super, super active outside. Great, we love exercise, and it tends to swing me down when I need to speed up or bend. Plus, it's been very hot outside. So when life settles, I'll pick it back up. Fabulous. Get back into the habit of it. Labor Day is coming around the corner. And so I know in the USA, suddenly life changes a lot then. So on the 7th of September, pick it back up, get back into the habit. That would be wonderful. Thanks for your kind comments as well, Angela. Much appreciated. Cool. Is there any other questions, or then I'm just going to leave you and love you. We're just thank you again to everybody. Thanks particularly to Tracy tuned in, Denise as well, and all of the kind of a lot of the old friendly faces there that I see, from Bernard to Stephen and lots of others. So thank you again, and I think we're finished whenever. Lovely, and enjoy your evening. I'll start this. Oh my.